All right, so here we are again, Angela, my dear. It is the last day of January in Perth, and it is hot, and we had some bad news today. And that is that at 12 o'clock today, Mark McGowan announced that we've had a coronavirus outbreak, and we are going into 5 days of lockdown.
That's
which is a bit disappointing.
We
really.
haven't had anything in 10 months.
Yeah, it's been quite a long time.
Apparently,
We've been very good here and we've got away with a lot, but this is inevitable. It was always going to happen. So what I want to talk a little bit about is nutrition in a lockdown and what you need to help your immune system.
What do you need to eat in a lockdown?
It's a good question. I'm glad you asked that.
Is it necessary? Is it important?
It's very important, and you know,
What should we
be
buy?
aware of the bigger pictures here. This is not about blaming anyone. You know, this is always going to happen. So don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. Don't hoard stuff. That's not helpful.
No.
And don't go around blaming whoever it was that set this thing off. That also is not helpful. This is the situation. What do we do about this? That's what we need to be looking at.
Yeah. So what do people need to stock on? Probably
Okay.
not.
Well, you don't need to stock up on that.
You don't need to stock on. What do you need to eat?
Well, last time this happened was in about March, I think, of 2020, and I did a little video in the supermarket because I noticed something very ironic, and I didn't release that video. I might go and dig it up and put it out there. But what I noticed going into the bigger supermarkets was that people were buying the wrong stuff. Right, it was all the wrong stuff. It was all the aisles of processed stuff, the pasta, the tinned goods, you know, the processed salami and ham and things that don't go bad.
Cereals.
All those processed
milk.
foods, which are not good for your immune system at all. They will inhibit your immune system from working.
Spam.
They will slow it all down. Exactly. And what was in abundance, Angela? What was not even touched?
I
in
know
the
the aisles, vegetable aisles,
all the fresh
where
food.
fresh food is.
The fresh food was just
screaming,
bizarre
buy me.
There was so much stuff to buy, and everyone was panicking about running out of food. And yet, any of the bigger supermarkets, and we don't tend to buy a lot of veggies
for
from Coles or
years
wherever.
and years and centuries, people have survived on fresh food.
Well, I don't know when that
I
stopped,
know.
but this is part of the problem why we're in the diabolical situation that we're in. So there isn't going to be any shortage of food, right? But buy the right things. Don't buy all the processed stuff. Don't buy all the tin stuff that doesn't go out of date and you can have for years. That isn't how you look after your immune system. It's fresh food. That is what's really, really important. That you have, you know, plenty of plant foods. You limit your intake of both meat and dairy because both these things are actually quite good at stopping your immune system from working.
Yeah.
They slow your white blood cells down and they make them not be anywhere near as effective.
You should talk about how when you change your diet, dairy, and you know you're having an eye problem and how. Yeah,
I was. So because I've had an eye problem for quite some time in my left eye. I've had a thing called recurrent corneal erosion syndrome, and I did a lot of different treatments and a lot of things trying to help this, and it was a problem. And I've gotten much better by literally giving up milk and not having cow's milk anymore. Cow's milk has a lot of compounds in because it's quite a processed thing. Even if you're getting the organic one that is, you know, non-homogenized, well, it still has all the enzymes destroyed from it.
Yeah.
Because they pasteurize it, so they heat treat it.
Yeah.
And this is not a healthy product anymore, unfortunately. And I was just going to say that the thing that made me stop when I read this in this enzyme book, this doctor basically said that if you take cow's milk from the shop and you feed that to a baby cow, that baby cow will be dead in 4 to 5 days. It's not the same milk as they get from their mother's.
And yet we consume it.
And yet we consume a lot of it. And you wonder why there's lots of different health aspects. And milk's quite an allergenic product. I love milk. I mean, I've brought up on it as a vegetarian. I have a lot of that stuff. But when I read that, I kind of went, "Oh God, okay."
I think you gave away cheese a little bit too, so it was.
I backed it off. Certainly did. I certainly did because you know that's where you make cheese comes from milk.
And how much?
Well, it seemed to help me a lot. It seemed to really help me, and I haven't had any problems with my eye for about 3 or 4 weeks.
That's amazing.
Which is quite amazing.
Really amazing.
I've also increased the intake of enzymes, and I might do a different video on that. But basically, the point of this video is to talk about, you know, don't hoard things going into lockdown, right? That's not helpful. We don't want a repeat of the toilet paper fiasco saga of last year.
I know.
That's dumb, right? And when people go and they mass buy everything and they buy the wrong stuff, it's not helpful for your immune system. And the other thing to talk about is stress. So the reason that stress inhibits your immune system is because you put your body into fight and flight when you're stressed. So your heart pumps more, you're basically producing more adrenal hormones, which is allowing you to run away and survive from the lion that's going to eat you all.
Well, that's fine. That's natural. You actually, in some way, you can actually say that's natural. Yeah, but then what are you going to do to combat that?
Well, the problem is that if you stay in that, like as it is when you watch the news and you go to the shops and everyone's freaking out, that accelerates your heart rate and it kicks you into fight and flight. And so when your body's in fight and flight and you're producing adrenal hormones, your body has to stop some other systems from working.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for everyone, one of those systems is your immune system. Yeah. It doesn't need to fight off viruses or bacteria because the biggest threat is about running away from the lion, which is what your perception is.
Yeah.
But you're scared and you're worried, your heart is beating and you're concerned and you're making adrenal hormones. You're basically putting yourself into agitation and so
that's
unfortunately that's going to make you have the chance of being more sick because your immune system's going to completely
But
go
eating well might help you.
Eating well will definitely help you. Eating fresh foods, eating plant foods. Remember the colours, red, orange and yellow, green. Get a variety of plant foods into you every day and we're not going to have a shortage of this stuff because we grow it all here. Right? We grow it all in WA. So the chances of us running out is really non-existent. That's not going to happen. But you're certainly going to run out of Spam and Dorsonia processed sausage meat and all this other stuff that you really probably shouldn't go anywhere near. Eggs are also, be aware that eggs are quite good at promoting viral conditions.
Yes.
I don't let my patients eat them in clinic when you're trying to fight off a viral thing. So be aware of that these protein foods that are strong and healthy are actually not very good for your immune system at all and they will stop it from working and they will give you a greater chance of being in jeopardy. Go for plant-based, go for colours and eat fresh. And if you do that, well,
find a balance. Have a balance of how you're going to.
It is always about balance, but don't forget the plant foods are very important, and there's no shortage of that. And that's really
because there won't be much movement in when you're in lockdown. There's not much to do.
No, if you're sitting around the house, there's very little to do. But if you just keep eating, animal foods, and this is going to make you. Potentially.
I guess most people have learned, we might think so, we've learned over the last experience of how that made everyone feel and everything else happening around the world, that people have been sharing a lot of experiences and how they go through that, and that's very helpful now.
It is helpful, but hopefully we learn from the past, but unfortunately we tend not to. So because just from gauging the essence of what's happening today in Perth, everyone's freaked out. Completely from 12 o'clock when the announcement came out. We've gone into panic mode and the shops are flooded and things are starting to vanish from the shelves and that's not cool because it's not helpful. You don't need to hoard all this stuff, guys. It's not helpful. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Be good.
Be positive.
Eat fruit, eat vegetables. Limit your dairy and your meat intake. And we'll get through this just fine.
We'll get through this.
You can't eat toilet paper, so stop buying it by the 24, 36 pack.
I just happened to need toilet paper today, but then I can't just go and stand in the queues.
No. All right. We're going to do some more of these because I think this is going to be important, and people are probably going to want to know a little bit more about nutrition and what you can do at this point in time. So use common sense, be courteous, be polite to people. Don't freak out. We'll get through this fine. This is inevitable. It's always going to happen. So stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.